Path of Night, War of Ages is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. And so continues the War of Ages.
Last time on War of Ages. A confrontation about feeding on a gift of women from Prince Radu of Beastry left Roland and Sadhbh at odds. Zorion's sire, Corvus, interjected, offering words of caution about trust and secrecy in a realm teeming with Eastern Lord spies. Corvus left to attend business, but told Zorion that he would visit him later that evening. Catrinel's sire, Valeska, told the Tzimisce of her own broodmate's destruction at the hand of a Ventrue. Valeska demanded that Catrinel retaliate, taking the Ventrue's city and claiming rulership of the domain. Alexios led the group to the Bell and Rose, where he was greeted by the proprietor, his old acquaintance Nofrit. While the others grew accustomed to the unnaturally pleasant surroundings of the inn, Nofrit led Alexios to the sarcophagus of the mysterious Seneferka, who traveled the underworld and warned of a terrible presence in the region. Upstairs, the new coterie gathered to get to know each other better, enjoying company and music together. But a slip of his abyssal fingers caused Zorion to believe he showed weakness in front of his lessers, beginning a catastrophic slide down the road of kings.
The festivities continue throughout much of the night, and as, one by one, two by two, the people who have been gathered and enjoying music and food and drink make their way off to rest for the night and prepare for the next day. In time, it becomes just the two of you, Sadhbh and Roland. It is often just the two of you. There comes a moment where you may as well yourselves make ready for the next night and prepare for the day's rest. And it is perhaps then that Sadhbh feels a chill creep up her back along her neck. For a moment, she actually looks over her shoulders as the sensation becomes so intense it is akin to someone physically with icy hands touching her flesh. But there is no one there.
Sadhbh, on instinct, moves closer to Roland. It's happening. I feel it. Something's gonna happen. Something's chilling my neck.
Roland, no stranger to Saiv's worries, looks around and then locks his eyes on her. Can you tell from whence this feeling comes?
I feel like it's behind me.
His eyes just instantly look up, knowing he probably can't see anything if something is there, but just like a primed bowstring in case something manifests itself.
Why don't the two of you roll me perception plus alertness at difficulty 8?
If I have Auspex, can I activate that as well?
You don't necessarily... You didn't activate it before I asked for it also, and it wouldn't be up when you're rolling.
Here is my alertness plus perception pool.
How many dice was that from?
2.
I got no successes.
I actually got 1. Wait. There's no penalty for not having a talent, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, then yes, I got 1.
Hell yeah. Saeed is far too distracted, rubbing the sensation on the back of her neck away, and can't focus on who might be there.
With one or more successes, you hear singing. A man's voice softly sings from outside of the inn.
Someone is in the streets singing to us, or singing simply on his own. But this is the cause, at least in my sight, of your feelings. Roland will put like a steadying hand on her shoulder and stand and continue to sort of loosely have his wrist resting on the hilt of his dagger and look at Saeed and go, "Shall we confront the source of your unease?"
Yeah, I can just tell him to fuck off.
This is my specialty.
You have a gift.
And he will, still resting his wrist on the dagger, walk outside.
Saeed will take her staff and walk a few paces behind him. Curious, but not dangerously so.
As the two of you draw close, Saeed, you know this song. This is a song from Dublin. And the man singing sings with a very sweet voice.
Wait. Why is he singing that song?
They all sound the same to me.
I know they do, but this one's from home.
I said what I said.
As you get outside, you can see a man who is walking and pacing back and forth. He is wearing like this caftan coat and is actually very much dressed in what is like Abbasid Caliphate fashions. He is dressed like a man of like Baghdad. Bright colors, but much of the cloth that he is wearing is worn and torn. He's barefoot. There is nothing covering his head. He kind of pauses from his singing to look at the two of you with these kind of very bright blue eyes, dark brown hair. His skin, however, is pale, like completely without any tan, anything to it. It is like white alabaster skin. And the people seem to start avoiding him when the singing stops. And his attention shifts towards the both of you, and he greets you with a smile.
Where did you learn that song?
The smile kind of twists into a grin, and he says, "The whisper in the dark taught me the song. He thought that you might like it. A bit of home."
Well, you can thank the whisper in the dark for me, but Why?
I wanted to see you.
You don't know me.
I know you.
Presumptuous.
I could feel you from afar for some time now. And what I can feel is more than anyone could perceive or learn through some hollow conversation. What I sense is beyond the mortal understanding of connection. I know you better than anyone.
No,
And he
you
like
don't.
looks at the Bruja.
Roland
with you.
immediately interjects as soon as he says that. Quite the height of presumption to engage in such familiarity with a lady without exchanging even the pleasantries of your name, friend.
Very well, sir. You sing her song.
Roland is, like, stuck dumb by that. He's just like, I have French witticisms to... What? And just is taking a second to figure out how to respond to that. He's usually much better.
What's your name?
My name is Elijah. I came a very long way to see you.
Why? I'm no one. And I'm trying real hard to be no one.
Regrettably, in this you have failed.
Well, you have succeeded in your quest, Elijah. You have seen her. Please be on your way.
Across seas and mountains, I have sensed your pain.
Saïv takes a breath at that. Just, she wasn't prepared. And what do you know of pain, Elijah?
He smiles again.
See that? That smile tells me you've been twisted by it.
Pain can destroy or uplift. And I think your pain makes you stronger than you see.
Roland's wrist is no longer laying on the hilt. His fingers have just very quietly moved to, like, grip the dagger at his belt.
My pain doesn't make me anything. I am who I am. And I'll be who I am, with or without the pain.
He smiles. I don't think there's going to be a way to become who you are meant to be without the path you have endured. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Do you work for the wicked man? Did he send you after me?
No. No, I would free you from the wicked man. I would see the wicked man rot for what he did to you. And when you're ready, we will talk about that.
Who do you think I'm supposed to be?
Whoever you damn well please.
And don't you forget it.
I'll see you again. I promise. And he turns and begins to walk away singing a song.
Saïv can likely tell that Roland is a hair's breadth from crossing the space between her and Elijah faster than thought and ripping his spine out of his body.
Two things Saïv does kind of simultaneously. She slips her hand into Roland's, just reminding him that she is safe. The threat is leaving. The oath is upheld. She is safe. He doesn't owe her more than that. And in her mind, she memorizes the song that Elijah is humming as he leaves. It's all right.
his fingers relax off the blade. The wrist returns to where it had been placed before. And he looks down at her, and there is a sort of a forced reassertion of that casual cockiness that he wears most of the time. Thank you for keeping my hand from spilling blood in Prince Ricard's city before I even gotten a chance to meet the man.
That's why they put me with you, of course, is to help you keep your temper.
Much to my shame that I have to be reminded of the rules of princely etiquette. And he, spits the word princely sort of reflexively like he always does. And puts sort of an arm around her shoulder, but there was, a forceful hand on her shoulder blade, and he steers her to go back inside. Partly to make himself feel better that she is back inside. And he walks back into the inn, making sure she steps through the threshold first, and then throwing a glance over his shoulder before he follows.
As they're back inside, she looks up at him. Roland, what do you think I'm meant to be?
I've not put much thought into it.
I believe that.
I think you're intended to continue to survive in the face of a world that wishes it against you. That is my concern, no?
Well, I'm sorry it got foisted on you.
An honor and a privilege to have taken so important a vow. And he, does a little flourish and a bow.
We should go to bed.
Long for the day. I trust the walls around us and its proprietor, even perhaps extending it to some of our new companions, but throw the bolt on your door nonetheless.
I always do.
As you lay. I am but across the hall.
And Sadhbh does work on a project before she goes to sleep, with the pieces of the broken guitar.
Zorion, you walk with your sire for a time, and he is silent, but you can sense the judgment in that silence, lurking and ever present. It is as though he assesses you by the gait of your walk, your willingness to hold your head up high after an incidental show of weakness. Deep down, you know it's obvious it would be impossible to purge yourself utterly of weakness. You know that your sire, Corvus, undoubtedly has weaknesses of his own. But you know well the eternal quest to purge yourself of such regardless, to be what is needed of you, to meet your purpose head-on, and conquer all challenges.
Zorion, as he's walking with his sire, is mulling over the incident in the tavern, and he keeps circling back to the fact that it's his desire to hold on to things that used to bring him joy. It's the fact that he still wants to play music. But he also recognizes that it's the way in which he is misusing the secrets of Abyss mysticism to force the Abyss to do things it wouldn't do normally. And perhaps stubbornly, or maybe even short-sightedly of himself, refusing to give up on that dream of having his limbs back. He kind of digs his heels in at the idea that, no, I simply have yet to tame the Abyss to my will. That's the only thing that went wrong there. And he kind of glares at the back of his sire.
Question. The Abyss. Is it a failure to stumble when attempting a feat that has not yet been performed. Where is the failure in that?
The failure in that is to attempt it in front of an audience without having perfected it behind closed doors.
You are not prepared. And in all things you were taught to have heaven and earth on your side. Were you not?
Indeed. But you chose a godly sire, so you'll forgive me if it takes a while to remember to have earth on my side.
It was a good opportunity to fail.
I could have recognized that, yes.
What I mean, child, is that the consequences of your actions fell upon your guitar. Not your men, not your faith, not your purpose. And all it cost you was a piece of you.
I'm not sure whether that is the greatest price to pay, or the least.
You are a leader, Zorion. You've seen what it is like for your men to pay for your actions. And I think you know which is worse.
I do.
So, we will endeavor to have earth on your side as you prepare for your journey tomorrow.
Of course, sire.
One of the Salubri travels with you.
A eyebrow cocks at that.
You will have to prepare your companions for a threat that lingers. They are Tremere, accompanied by a gargoyle, a weapon created through their thaumaturgy. They have arrived in search of a mystic from Baghdad.
They have arrived here in Budapest.
Yes. It is to my understanding that this mystic was held by them for a time. Certain tomes of knowledge stripped from him and used for their research.
This mystic from Baghdad, is he a member of the Banu Hakim?
He is not.
A mortal?
A canine. But from a strange bloodline. The Tremere referred to him as a black angel. Angela.
I see. Lex, what do I know of the Angelicator?
Give me an intelligence occult roll at difficulty 8.
Would a speck in the abyss help with this?
Yes, it would.
It's a wash.
You recall something about Ereshkigal, but a little more.
Sire, I'm afraid I have not heard of this Angelicator.
That is perhaps by design. In these nights, the Salubri are being eradicated. Their history, their people, their accomplishments, all of it to dust. But they are not the first for whom this has happened. The Angelicator, they come from a different story. What is important is that you know that this individual is a skilled mystic, and he knows well the secrets of the abyss. But unlike you, an Angelicator is not fit for this knowledge. It corrupts them, it drives them to madness. What is of interest is that among the possessions of this Angelicator was a poem, the Emeris Pyros. The exact copy he possessed was gifted to your companion Catrinel by her sire. The Zimitsi Valeska hides something, and moves against the Tremere, and in moving against the Tremere will draw the Tremere to you and yours. You must be wary of the Tremere. You must temper the desires of your companions to war upon the Tremere. Because if you are drawn into a protracted conflict with the Tremere, you will be distracted from your true purpose.
My true purpose?
Yes.
I suppose that it is more than just keeping my eyes open and learning everything that I can.
It is important that you know the risks going into this, that you understand that if your companions are found to be concealing a salubri, the Tremere, their founder, will personally hunt you into extinction.
It is a short ride from Vienna to any part of this land, I know.
Indeed. And so, their ignorance is your greatest weapon. It is your shield. It is the means by which you will protect yourself and those who follow you. Preserve it. And see that your companions preserve it. Now, there are matters to consider as you travel.
Perhaps you would like to explain my true purpose, then. Your letter to me just said that I was to meet with our patron and learn everything I can about those in this domain.
For now, that is your purpose. You will learn little.
If I am destroyed by the Tremere, I understand. But this is simply scouting?
Deeply important scouting. Let us begin proper. You must know that as you travel, you will inherit Radu's rivals. One of his strongest opponents is the Nkanu gangrel Arnulf. This gangrel seeks to curb the expansion of civilization. His barbarians, many of whom are experienced gangrel warriors, will seek to kill any Canaanites who would erect a fortress and protect civilization from their claws.
I assume you specifically mean Tahuta Pass.
I do.
Arnulf is the sire of Mitru, is he not?
Indeed. And Mitru is one of the princes with whom Radu is allied. Arnulf and Mitru have become enemies.
Are we certain of that?
I am certain that Mitru believes himself an enemy, but his willingness to oppose his sire unto death is untested. The Gangrel are an honorable clan, and they have a way of doing the right thing at the wrong time. And so Mitru must be regarded as having that potential weakness lurking within him. In addition to this, you have been lied to. Tahuta Pass is a valuable outpost, but that is hardly the extent of its value. There was once a library there, steeped in the histories of the Canaanite race.
And what has happened to this library?
It was destroyed, but it is rumored that hidden within its foundation are Canaanite prophecies, matters of great importance that Radu seeks for himself. The lost tribe must know what, if anything, remains hidden in the ruins of that fortress.
And what of Radu?
Radu is an opportunist. If Radu believes that we are a valuable asset, he will treat us as a valuable asset. If he believes that we can be expended, he will expend us at his earliest convenience. And so you must treat him just as who he is, an opportunist.
What does he know of the lost tribe?
Nothing. But he knows there are agendas, secrets hidden behind secrets. See to it that those you travel with are preserved. There are so few that you will be able to trust in this region. By my assessment, these Canaanites may be chief among them.
All of them?
All of them. In fact, I have reason to believe Alexios knows the Assamite you seek. careful in how you draw this information from him. He is more cunning than he lets on.
The name Alexios and his cover do seem a bit thin, but thick enough to obscure whatever is beneath.
I concur.
Do you know his sire?
I only knew of his sire. In fact, it would seem that Velasco was quite the same in this regard. Even Radu himself, while owed by this man's sire, didn't truly know him.
So likely part of this same thin cover.
Perhaps. He actually turns like he's going to leave and then pauses, and you can see he is wrestling with something. The Tremere here are strong, as too are the Eastern Lords, as too are the Fiends. But there is one who stands above all. The eldest. The first among the antediluvians. The sire of all dragons. He lurks in the Carpathians. And when you are ready, he shall be the focus of your efforts.
And there we have it.
Indeed.
But you have business elsewhere.
Yes.
He kind of cocks his head a little bit and, stares at Corvus.
He gives a nod, like you know exactly why the fuck I'm headed where I'm headed.
Because if you're leaving something of this weight with me, you have to be tackling something of equal or greater importance.
Do not allow your mind to wander so deep into such. When you gaze upon it, it indeed stares back.
The abyss knows all, Messiah. I will not forget that.
He nods and he leaves.
Zorion kind of stands alone for a little bit, digesting what he has been told. And quickly tries to pull himself out of thinking too deeply about the dangers of what his sires revealed to him. Because indeed, polluting his mind with too many thoughts of that can be dangerous, because those secrets are not necessarily kept to himself alone. He crouches down and reaches his hand into some of the shadows cast nearby, until the small shadow servant he had summoned earlier comes to him. And after a few moments, this little child-shaped shadow steps out and regards Zorion. And he looks down at the servant. My friend, keep an eye on my dear friend Alexios. Learn more about what he does and where he goes. I wish to keep him safe. And the small shadow runs off into the night, and Zorion begins his way back towards the inn.
Catrinel retires for the evening. There's been a great deal of demonstrations and hints as to the true nature of the Canaanites that they travel with, and so they have much to contemplate, particularly the revealed desires of Catrinel's sire, the demand that blood be spilt and land taken from the Eastern Lords as recompense for the suffering they have visited upon her sire and her clan. And then she sits, brushing her hair and doing the things that she does to prepare for the day. there is a ripple in the air, and passing from ether into flesh is what almost perfectly resembles a white-tailed eagle. But as it lands, its eyes take on a blood-red gleam, and the light from the candle catches it in such a way that it seems as though the eagle might be smiling. And then the eagle speaks. The Slavic demon introduces itself. My master and your sire sends me. I bring warning, news, guidance, and aid.
As this strange, somewhat bird shows up, Catrinel slowly sets down the brush, taking back the few hairs that had fallen down, and listens, leaning forward at the mention of... You said demon, right?
So, it doesn't mean infernal sort of demon. The Slavic demons are actually spirits very similar to the nature spirits that Garu interact with. But they have a little more of a human understanding. They don't form pacts or anything like that. And there are Kuldinic sorcery rituals that allow sorcerers to summon and bind them as minions.
Is this a phenomenon, then, that I'm familiar with?
You are well aware that your sire is able to summon spirits such as this and send them as messengers and vessels for communication.
Upon what has the bird perched?
It lands right on the little, almost like a bureau and mirror that occupy the room. So, like, right up on top of the mirror, it lands facing you.
Catrinel will offer her arm if it seems a more natural perch for the conversation.
It hops down onto your arm.
What brings you, demon?
Its head kind of twists, and its eyes begin to roll to the back of its head as an alien power overtakes it. And this you have also seen before, as through the power of Auspex, your sire seizes its being and uses it as a vessel, and it begins to speak with your sire's voice. Child, I sensed unease during our meeting.
You did? Yes.
Explain.
You know the road that I've chosen to follow, and the way that I choose to tackle it. Some call it the Promethean method. I've heard that term before. The idea to take down power from the bottom up, not necessarily from the top. And I admit I do feel some unease, yes, at the idea of ruling. I suppose in my mortal life it was something that I was raised for, but something that I have not thought of in that way for quite a long time.
In a perfect world, you would drown in choices. The world and all that it offers would be for your consumption at your leisure. But we do not exist in that world. The Eastern Lords deny us a chance to build that world. And so long as the Ventrue exists, you must conquer or be conquered in return. The Bruja ascribed to all manner of wise philosophy, sweet words, and ideals. Their reward for their wisdom was to be shattered by the Ventrue, cast aside and utterly forgotten. We will not be forgotten, child. And so, if you are to survive, free, and not beholden to the will of Nova Arpad and her allies, you must be the dragon that they fear you might be. So, I pose to you this question. If you will not rule, and you will not see to it that the Eastern Lords do not break down our world and build a new one in their reflection, who shall do so in your stead?
You think it time to fully claim our nickname as fiends? To tighten our grip? And when Catrinel asks it, it's a very sincere question.
I have expressed what I think is needed, and I did so when I called upon you to act. Interpret that how you will.
I do not yet know those amongst me well enough to say that one of them could take the place that you indicate. And as little as I know it, I know what you've suffered in losing your broodmate. When you did ask what you asked of me, I took it to heart. It was not my natural inclination, but as you say, this is not a world made entirely of choices. If I am to be the one to seek to rule, I will not shy from it. I don't know if, in our travels, in our time together, one amongst me could prove worthy of that seat. I would certainly be ready to take it if they do not.
Ponder the best path forward and what we should do. Consider every small nuance you wish to. But know that as you ponder, the Eastern Lords act with ironclad focus.
To rip away freedoms and feed it to their machines.
That is a byproduct. What they offer you is annihilation. So by all means, child, ponder. The spirit jerks and refocuses as it assumes control of its body. The dawn comes. I am on my way, the spirit says.
Are you able to take a message back?
As you wish.
Do please tell Valeska. I have no need to ponder. I'll do it.
As you wish. And he opens his wings and takes off, and just as he takes to the air, there's another ripple through the air and he vanishes, totally unseen.
Aggravation tinged with frustration tightens Catrinel's jaw. The frustration of feeling, not that she would admit it, but misunderstood. Something that she can allow in the privacy of her own space, the self-consciousness of feeling that if she would have had the time to bite down on those hesitations herself, she would have destroyed them, but having been honest about them, that feels now too bearing. And that frustration builds, and the annoyance of having even spoken about her thoughts, and that raw doubt is present. The idea of taking praxis, taking control in such a fundamental way, to take over an entire city, that's staggering. As much as she's been trained for certain elements of power, a Koldun, someone raised to rule, she knows that that's a dangerous seat. She's not certain of the path to fill it, and that lack of certainty floods hot and embarrassing, and that tangles in as soon as she realizes that she has given her word. She did it, she meant it, and she would have done it regardless. She knew that as soon as Valeska had given her a gift and expressed very little of her hurt towards losing her broodmate, but that Catrinel knows what it's like to lose family. She was already going to do it, but she gave her word to do it. Though Catrinel follows the road of sin, she follows a very specific path within it, the path of the devil, and that makes her, herself, an adversary. And to follow that path means you are adversarial to control being expressed over yourself, to denying yourself pleasure, to not questioning the world around you, not challenging the world around you, and especially not challenging the powers that be. Now she's confronted with the idea of having to become the powers that be. And for some, on the path of sin, that is an objective, to take those slots and become someone who can guide that. And that's not Catrinel. And regardless, to give an oath is a sin.
I need you to make a conviction roll at difficulty 8.
Right, that is 2 successes.
Okay. You recognize that you have failed on the path that you walk, and your conviction holds true. With the arrival of the next night, you are awakened to sense of food being cooked, dinner, bread, the sense of alcohol being imbibed by the various visitors who make their way through this inn whenever passing through the city of Pest. One at a time, Nofrit visits at your door, giving it a knock and informing the group of you that the prince will be seeing guests this evening. Discussions on hospitality will take place, and there is to be a jousting tournament in celebration of his sire's death day, the evening that they were given the embrace. She explains that this is some sort of Ventrue tradition, and that many of the locals actually very much so look forward to this evening. It is usually a celebration where people have light moods and conflicts are usually set aside. When you're ready, she'll be waiting for you upstairs, and from there you will all leave together.
Zorion would like to ask Nofrit what her policy is on feeding within the domains of her inn. Are all of her guests here under her hospitality and protection?
Yes. Okay. Both mortal and canine are not to be harmed. But she is thankful that you asked.
Zorion will get dressed. Some of his retainers will come in to aid him in this process. Being of the bloodline of La Sombra makes that difficult, as he cannot see his own reflection. Upon waking, he has a scraggly beard and needs to go through the process of having it shaved. One of his retainers accomplishes this for him. He is dressed and then will meet with a few of his Gould knights. Before going to sleep the previous evening, he had let them know that during the day, he would require that they retrieve information about this domain, Prince Ricard, and his court. Zorion does not want to go meet the prince completely disarmed of knowledge. So whenever they have arrived, he would like to meet with them to go over what they've learned.
They give a quick report and will explain to you that a handful of interests come in the form of a man by the name of Octavio who serves as keeper. It is the understanding of the court that he has gone mute for the past few months, but Prince Ricard refuses to remove him from his position. The next individual of interest is Borislav Emmerich. He serves as the sheriff of Prince Ricard's city, and in addition to this, he is the prized knight / athlete that is expected to be the star of the tournament. Additionally, there are a handful of guests that are considered powerful Canaanites in the region. First of whom is Lady Dagmara. She comes from the clan of Death and holds significant sway in West Hungary. The next is Orsolia. She is her companion and protector, and is said to be of a rare bloodline by the name of the Lamia. The next is a woman by the name of Ruxanda. She is the child of the Prince of Hermannstad.
Who is the Prince of Hermannstad?
A knight by the name of Maruska. The last two are specifically powerful members of the Eastern Lords. The Ventru effort to seize control of the eastern cities across Transylvania. First of whom is a woman by the name of Nova Arpad. She is the Prince of Mediash. The next is Lucretia of the Black Cross.
Zorion arches an eyebrow at Diego, his Gould retainer. When you say the Black Cross, do you mean the Hospitaller?
Yes, it would seem that the Ventru have always held significant sway over them, and so the Prince of Strasbourg considers themselves a member. To the west, one of the most prominent courts is the Court of the Black Cross.
And this Lucretia of the Black Cross, is she also known as Lucretia of Hearts?
Yes.
Kind of frowns a little bit. So 2 of the Eastern Lords who are also 2 of the 7 princes that make up the Council of Ashes. What did you learn about Prince Ricard himself?
Prince Ricard is a noble man. However, he has dedicated his unlife to the protection of something called an Inconu. An ancient vampire, in this case, one that refers to themselves as Bulsku.
Thinking back, Bulsku was the elder that Roland of the slave market was fetching slaves for, correct?
Yes.
So Ricard is in service to this Bulsku.
Indeed.
Did you learn anything of his Seneschal Roland?
Forgive me, but I could not find anything of a man named Roland.
So...
The Seneschal of the city. It is a man by the name of Demeter the Wise of Clan Tremere.
A smile widens across Zorion's face. Demeter, you say?
Indeed.
Well, that changes things a little. Is there anything that Prince Ricard... Any indication that there's anything he desires or is worried about protecting?
Of note, it would seem that the elder Bulsku is distracted. Bulsku is no longer involved in local politics the way that he was some time ago. Some believe that he is lost dreaming of past glories. Others believe that he has become drawn to substances.
Substances?
Yes.
Bulsku is of the Ventru?
Indeed.
Diego, thank you for the work you have done. This is marvelous work that you and the rest of the knights were able to accomplish in a single day. Take rest. I will be meeting with the prince later this evening.
We are honored for the opportunity, and thank you.
My friend.
My friend.
Zorion will head to the main room of the inn and gather with the rest of the coterie.
When Catrinel is getting ready, she takes quite a bit of time to look polished, to brush out her own hair, to dress well. There's a bit of a scent, a pleasant one, clean earth, that clings to her, even as she finishes every preparation. She had readied something for an occasion like this, pulled her resources together to be ready. It's a delicate little golden comb with engravings, horses running through a field. It's a well-made little item. Technically it could be functional, but it's primarily decorative. And she wraps it up nicely to be presented as a gift, tucks it into her cloak pocket, and heads out to meet the others.
Perhaps infuriatingly, it takes Roland almost no time at all when he wakes to look presentable. He was embraced looking presentable and rises each morning that way. But he brushes out his hair, and before he goes upstairs to meet with everybody else, he actually goes to meet Sadhbh and pull her aside.
When Roland goes looking for you, what state does he find you in?
Not complete disarray. She is wide-eyed, shaking, trying to comb her hair with the wooden comb that she has. She's dressed. She's managed to pull out the cleaner of the two dresses that she has with her, shake it out, make sure that it's semi-presentable. She's prepared a kerchief to wear around her head to help keep her forehead covered, as well as her hair back and neater. But her hands are shaking, her eyes are wide, and she's just trying to move forward. And he knows this look well.
He does not comment on the nightmares when they are nearly every night. It would have been tiresome long ago if he asked every time, but he gives her a quick concerned look. And then his face sort of hardens into more of that of a teacher, at least his understanding of a teacher. We are going to the Prince's Court this evening. This is a voluntary court. This is the opportunity to practice smiling at your enemies sincerely, smiling with sincerity from your eyes to your mouth, to those that drive you to frenzy and make your beast gnash within your chest. A skill we have been trying to practice. However, I need you to tell me honestly before we meet with the others if you think you can accomplish this. If not, you're going to have to stay away.
I don't know.
With the Looklands, which would look somewhat suspicious for a toreador. But you have to. This is not a choice.
If you want an honest answer, I don't know. The wicked man was in my head all night, setting fire to the people I loved, and I don't know.
I know I have said it 1,000 times, and I will say it 1,000 more. This is something you have to do for your own safety. My vows are not fulfilled until you are safe, and you are not safe until you can smile at those who would kill you. I need you to know, and if the answer is you don't know, then you're going to have to stay close to Alexios or someone who will not be welcome in the high halls.
Do you trust Alexios?
No.
Do you think your vow is fulfilled if you leave me with someone?
I don't think you are fulfilled anywhere, but I am going to have to walk the high halls, and if you cannot walk them with me, we have to think of another thing, and I will not leave you alone in this dank basement. I don't trust a single one of them more than anyone can. But we will have to take risks at some point, no? So either you can walk them with me as a toreador, or we have to think of another solution. If you lose control, like you did yesterday, I will die, and so will you. This is not opinion or possibility. I am quite the combatant, but I will die. And I need to know that you are in control of yourself enough, not simply to not scream, but to keep the happy mask of pleasantry that is the armor of these occasions.
I'm not going to make a promise I can't keep.
At least you have done that much, no? Then what is your solution? Where should you be?
The catty answer is I should be home, but we're far past that.
There are no homes for such as we. This evening, then, where need you be? If you cannot control yourself.
I haven't said I can't. I've said I don't know if I can.
You have an hour or so to think on it. But if the answer is anything less than yes, we have to do something else. Think on it.
Fine.
And his face suddenly looks a little bit less like the countenance of his sires, and a little bit more like the sort of happy Roland that kind of walks around caring about her. Not a fake face, a genuine face, but he nods and goes, I'll let you finish that then, yes? And he turns and leaves the room to go upstairs.
Sadhbh will kind of shut her door and lean against the threshold and just kind of lace her fingers together, trying to will the shaking to stop. Close her eyes and try and force the nightmares away. But every time she closes her eyes, it's just worse.
Alexios most likely will be the first one upstairs after a quick wash down, and then heading upstairs to have discussions with Nofrit if she's around. Otherwise, just kind of sitting and enjoying the calm of the particular inn.
Nofrit is present, and she is just relaxing, listening to people chat and enjoy the serene environment.
Basic small talk as we wait for the rest of the party, and if she has anything in particular.
Yeah, she's very welcoming, very happy to see you. She absolutely makes small talk. She smiles. She has a very warm smile. Every now and again, she kind of like touches your knee while chatting you up. And the two of you wait for others to arrive.
Path of Night, War of Ages is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages podcast set in the world of darkness. Alexios is played by Tim Davis. Catrinel is played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Roland Roncevaux is played by Rob Muirhead. Sadhbh is played by Erika Webb. Zorion de Iruña is played by Garrett Gabbey. Your storyteller is Lex Lopez. The music used in this episode was Don't Look Back by DaniHaDani and Maya Belsitzman. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by White Wolf and Paradox Interactive. Be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you find your podcast. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show at ko-fi.com/pathofnight. Look for us on social media at Path of Night Podcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, K-Knights.
Spicy. All right, cool. Coming for you. You're sorry I did something bad, Rebecca. Real bad, and gave you the loot.
I'm gonna have some quick roleplay response to the path check, however it goes.
Okay.
Sorry, Rob, for making you edit this in.
But it is important.
Yeah.
So let's definitely do it. Rob understands. He's cool with it. He's cool. All right. So.
Would you like me to lead in with describing in a similar fashion to Garrett of noting that's a path sin?
I actually want you to go, because we're going to do the end of the scene.
Yeah.
And then I want you to go, wait, I've sworn an oath. And then I want you to explain why this is a sin on your road.
All right.
And then I'm going to tell you the difficulty, which the level of the sin.
It's the same on the actual webpage is actually the same as the book.
Yeah.
Regardless, swearing an oath is a level 5 path sin.
And what's your path
I
rating?
think are we all at 7?
I'm at 6.
I was 6.
All right, I'm at 7.
All right. So the difference is 2, so plus 2 difficulty.
All right, I'm going to ask you to tell me that later, because I'm already going to be bad at describing the mechanics of a road.
I just wanted to do the math so that I can do math now, so I can just give you the number.
Yeah. Sorry, brain's working two different ways. If you tell me numbers, we'll have to hold other information. They fall out.
Nope, I'm just going to say difficulty is 8. So go ahead, and when you're ready,